don't know what you're missing until you taste it. Then you think, why wasn't I eating this before instead of that dried up, broken stuff? This easy recipe will remind you of the homemade dough your grandmother used to make, but it's eggless and therefore vegan. It's a great all-purpose, all-culture pasta that can be used for Asian dumplings, for ravioli, for fettuccine, and, well, of course, for perogies. Remember, when you make it yourself, you have total control over the fat, salt, and sugar. Welcome back to Comfort Food Farms, the plant-based home cooking channel. If we haven't met, I'm Kari Greger. I'm glad you've joined us. Let's get into it. Measure 1 cup of warm water. To this add 1.5 teaspoons of nutritional yeast, about 1/3 of a teaspoon of Kala Namak black salt, and 1 teaspoon of regular salt. You can add a tablespoon of oil. The oil is optional, but it makes the pasta easier to manage when you are trying to seal the ravioli. The black salt and nutritional yeast give a slight egg flavor, so no one will know that this doesn't have eggs in it. It'll taste just like an egg noodle. Measure 2.5 cups of flour into a mixer that has a dough hook. You can do this by hand, but it just goes faster and it's easier. Pour in the water with the eggy flavor and let the dough hook do its job. I would like to experiment with whole wheat flour as that is nutritionally better, but I know this recipe works for many dishes, so I'm going to stick with what works. We can film that experiment another time. Look how the dough stretches. It doesn't have quite the smoothness that it will. It's got a little bit of an uneven texture to it. Cover the dough with a damp cloth, or in this case with the mixer lid, and let it rest for 30 minutes. That allows the gluten in the flour to release, and then we get lots of nice stretch to our pasta dough. And by the way, if you're getting good information, click on the subscribe button, like the video, and hit that bell so you receive a notification when another vegan recipe is posted. Look how beautiful the dough has become once it's rested. It has enough stretch, elasticity, and because we used the white flour, it has a sheen to it. It has a smoothness. Roll the dough into a rectangle shape. You want it long one way and short the other way. We want to roll the dough thin enough so that it will be the thickness of a noodle. I'm going to be making some fettuccine with this. It's wonderful to be able to do this without a pasta maker. What you're going to do is roll it thin enough so it can become a noodle, and then put an extra heavy layer of flour on there. Just really dust it in. And then from one side, you roll it up. If you have a floured surface that you're working on, this shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't stick too much. One of the things the oil does is that it helps the dough to stretch. if I've tried this without oil in it, and it kind of retracts, you know, it pulls back from where you roll it out, so that the oil helps it maintain its stretch. Now I'm trying to cut these regular intervals, about the width of fettuccine. This is how we make fettuccine without a pasta maker. You just take these little roll-ups and these little pinwheels and unroll them to reveal the noodle. So it's important when you roll them up to start from the short end so that you get nice long noodles. Now I'm going to put them on a cutting board, let them dry for a little bit, and boil them in water for 8 to 10 minutes. Then you have your noodles. Top them and serve them. Here is another thing you can make with this wonderful pasta dough: ravioli. I'm using a biscuit cutter to cut out the circles. Put about a teaspoon of the filling in it. And press around the sides to make these nice ravioli. Oh, that's sticking a bit. One thing you have to do is pinch those edges so that you have a complete seal. This is going to be very important for whatever kind of filled pasta that you make. But isn't that lovely ravioli? This pasta freezes well, so I put it on a tea towel lined cookie sheet, and I will freeze them individually. Once they are frozen, I can bag them up and then keep them in the freezer for when I want to have ravioli. There, see, I have several, and almost 2 layers worth, and they're beautiful. They'll be frozen that way, and then I can boil them for 8 to 10 minutes or until they float, and then just top them with some pasta sauce. Well, it looks delicious. Give it a try. That's good ravioli. There, got a little bit of the heat. I used the recipe for the Italian sausages for the filling, but I didn't put the gluten in, so it's a little softer, not as firmed up as that sausage filling, but it's still very good, and it gives you a bit of that Italian sausage heat. It's great. These are great ravioli, very fresh tasting pasta. You can't go wrong, right? And when you make it yourself, you know what's in there. You have total control over the fat, sugar, and salt. So, if you got some good information from this video, give us a thumbs up below. And next week, I'm going to be making something else with this wonderful pasta dough. I'm going to be making perogies, or Veronica. So, while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll receive a notification when that recipe is posted. Thanks for watching.